Hello, hello. Welcome back. We're on episode 7 of My Wife's Unavailable, and I'm your host and life coach, if you want, Chelsea B. And filling in today is my awesome older sister, Devin Washington.
Yeah, girl.
Sorry, full named you there, but
Devin, yeah, whatever. Putting it all the way out
there's
there.
probably a lot of those out there. Anyway, sup, Dev?
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm so glad to be here.
That's how we usually say hi to each other.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, and anyone listening is like, what in the world are they doing?
Yeah, because the greeting takes, a few minutes longer than it should.
But then they just catch on, like Emma, and she just rolls with it. But secretly, it makes her happy every time she hears it. She's like, wow, those dorks. Anyway, if you would introduce yourself to the listeners, tell us like who you are, where you've been, what you're doing.
Oh, man. Okay, do we have enough time? Let's see. So Devin, older sister here. I've really been all over the place. I mean, grew up in Washington, was in Florida before, here in Arizona, here with my husband, 2 kids. I'm a learning consultant, so full-time working mom. There's a lot going on.
What is a learning consultant?
Ooh, great question. I would say a learning consultant. So I specialize in any type of workforce development. So my company, if they're going to sell a deal, if you will, on any type of upskilling, leadership training, any type of education for the employees, corporate employees, I'm the liaison that comes in and between our internal project team and the customer. So once the salespeople do their thing, they pass it to me to make our customers' dreams come true. Mm-hmm.
And you do that all the time, I bet.
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. And now you're here. Like you said, you got 2 kids. I believe they've both been referenced on the podcast already.
I'm sure they have. They make a name for themselves wherever they go.
They really do. Which, if you knew Devin and Travis, you would know why, because they just, you guys are both super outgoing, exuberant, very unique people, and your kids have just absorbed all sorts of things and created their own, personality traits. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're going to make a big splash in the world.
They're awesome.
They already do, but
they already do.
But yeah, the main thing I want to talk to you about is you just went to Germany.
Sure did.
For work. And I already know how much of a badass you are just with work in general. So for those that don't know, Devin and so she works for a company called Tech Systems. And I know I've already said that before that I worked there. But we also have my other sister that has yet to be on. And now she has to be on because,
of course, she's been mentioned.
Check. And her husband worked there as well. So
our mom worked there. Yeah, our cousin worked there.
Yes, that's where I was getting. Thank you. Way back in the day, before I even worked there, these other people worked there. So yeah, it's been an awesome company. But you recently went from the staffing side to the global services side. I guess not so recently.
No, it's been like 3 years, which is crazy.
3 years. Okay. But anyway, you're doing some business right now and just went to Germany, which is wild.
So it is wild to think about it.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
International gig. The more I reflect on it, so this is the 3rd week back, and excuse me. The more I reflect on it, it was really, really, as Hagen would say, I came back feeling very accomplished.
Oh, good.
That is his that's his phrase for feeling proud of himself, which he totally made up himself. I tell him I'm proud, but he made that up himself. But I felt really accomplished because coming back from that, so I've been with the company for 21 years and I've done a lot of different stuff. And this is the first role that I really feel like marries my skills, my passions. Like I'm good at it and I like it and I keep getting better still and I keep being challenged. And so to have a customer say, we want to take you international so you can train all of our leaders because what you've built for the last year has extreme value. It's the way that we want to go. They're completely changing their sales model. So it's one of those things where for me, it was a dream that I like didn't know I had kind of thing. It was like, it was just incredible. So coming back from that, reflecting on that, I was also telling a friend yesterday, it was also a facilitator's dream. So I haven't facilitated in 3 years. I was super excited to get back out there and do it, but it was my first international audience. All of the leaders spoke English, but it's not their native language.
Yeah.
So I really had to, and I'm sure you already can tell right now, I talk very quickly and I'm very, very passionate. And so talk with my hands, and you can't see that right now, but I'm doing it. And so I really had to think about what that sounded like. I had to think about not using analogies that I use all the time. And especially with working with a company like Tech Systems for so long, where we just get in kind of the natural swing of sports analogies and just things that come up and really work for salespeople, that my normal toolkit went out the window. So, but I was really excited about it. And because I've worked with this customer for the last year, I really felt like I could still make a personal impact, which again is something I love to do. So for me, I walked away from it and I had specific goals going into it. And I told my customer, I achieved all my goals. Like for me, walking away from it, there's nothing I would do differently.
Yeah.
Nothing big, obviously there's always things you can improve on, but there's nothing big that I didn't sit on my 10-hour plane ride and go, oh, I should have said that, or I should have did this, or I should have involved. There was no second guessing myself. And but I'll tell the audience, I've been working on myself really, deeply for the last 2.5 years. And so to come out of that and feel super just accomplished was a great feeling. And, and now that I'm back, this week was the first week back with a customer, and they're like, what's next? Like, let's go. There's so much positive feedback and momentum. And so that to me, I'll probably be working with them for like the next 4 years because there's lots of opportunity. But for me, it just, again, it's extreme validation that, I'm really in the right position right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever felt that good about where I'm at. And I've had really great leaders and really great positions and really great, but it's like to finally feel like, wow, this is good stuff.
Yeah. That's
it's
awesome.
Really cool. Yeah.
I can relate a little bit with the life coaching piece. But it was also like, and I still today with other, ventures that I'm on, get a little bit of imposter syndrome or like just trying to find whatever it is that I might have doubts about. And then whenever I get a moment to remind myself that I'm just like, what is the actual harm if I go down this road and it doesn't work out? Like, there's not really much. I mean, if you made a big like financial investment, that might be one thing, but I haven't.
Right.
It's really just taking a risk and seeing if it works out. But yeah, so I can totally get that part of like feeling like for the first time, this actually feels like exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. And it is, scary is like not the right word because it's exciting too, but it's kind of a weird juxtaposition about, again, my word coming into this year was surrender. So you have sort of that thought of, okay, whatever the world's bringing to me, whatever the universe is bringing to me, whatever I'm ready for, bring it. And I'm just going to surrender to it. But then you also have your years of experience. And in my case, and in our case, I feel like there's a lot of things that where in terms of where I'm at right now that I've surpassed like people in my life, right? Whether it's mentors, whether it's our family, like our family structure. And so when I think about my future, I'm like, who do I look at? Who do I really, and again, that's no knock to any, it's just like, that's what I've been driving towards my whole life, my whole career. And so now that I'm here, and you and I have talked about this, now I need new mentors. And so how do you find them? And so that's the part where like you're exciting and you want to put yourself out there, but then it's still really uncharted territory. Yeah. So you're like, and then I go back to surrender. So it has to be kind of that the crosshairs of it. Yeah. Like, okay, we're here, we're in the middle. There's several directions you could go, but instead of overthinking that, you kind of just have to go and see where it leads you and then deal with whatever comes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Speaking of finding mentors, so we did the Claim Your Power book. And I believe Mom mentioned that on her episode. So we did that as a book group with a couple other people. And then you and I did it again a second time. Was it this year?
No. Yes.
What the heck?
We've done a lot this year.
Oh my gosh. Well, in full honesty, and I know I said this during the time, I was like not myself. Like earlier this year, there was like, I had like herniated disc in my neck, and that was not the only thing going on, but we had just moved into this house like a few months prior. There was like all kinds of stuff. But physically, I was feeling like I was in pain like every day. And I couldn't sleep. Like the only position I could sleep in was my back. And I was just telling this to Emma's friend the other day, like picture for 8 hours or however long you're in bed and you can only be on your back.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a full night's sleep. And you wake up at some points and you're just like stiff and you need to move, but any other position was like making me in pain. So anyway, spent some time in that phase of my life. And then I think shortly thereafter we did we start it in January?
No, we didn't start in January. I feel like we started it like in March.
That's what I was going to say.
It was later.
Okay. That's what I was originally going to say. Shortly thereafter we started that. And I was just like, not the only reason, but the main reason I was doing it is because you wanted to, and I knew I needed to, and I wanted to do it. But I was like, if I don't do it right now, I don't know if I'll actually do it this year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to do it. But anyway, all that to say, like probably half of that journey was kind of going through the motions for me. And then like the other half was like, oh, this is good. Like I'm working through this, like figuring stuff out. I was just like not into it like I was the first time. But here's my vision board, by the way, from when we did it. Towards the end, like probably the last 10 days, I really did get a lot more out of it than I did the first time. Specifically with the vision board. Like last time I did a lot of pictures of family, loved ones, whatever. Which at the time was like really inspiring to me and just like showed me all of my happiness, you know? And then this time I was like, no, I'm really going to use it more like manifestation and like what I want to come. But anyway, I'm actually not even talking about what I wanted to say about that book. What I wanted to say was there's a part where he talks about your mentors.
Oh yeah.
And, the first time we did it, I was like, where
is a mentor?
Yeah, I was just like, especially because I was new to the life coach space. So I was like, I don't even know life coaches. Like I know who, like the facilitators and like the coaches that I met at the place I got certified, but I'm like brand new to this world. So I don't even know who the front runners are. I mean, I know like some big names.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want
a new industry.
Yeah. And there's a couple big names that they're not really my vibe. They're not really my energy. And so I'm kind of like, I was honestly kind of bummed because I'm like, dang, I just don't think I can like keep listening, you know, and keep like following this person. But anyway, so I literally like searched mentors for whatever like the category was. I think he says like relationships.
It's like, I think it's like everything, right? It's financial, it's, or maybe he makes you, I forget, maybe he makes you list what you need mentors in type of thing. Cause I know mine was career, health, and relationships, I think.
Okay.
But I think he makes you talk about, you know, where you think you need mentors.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just remember searching in the like marriage or relationship or whatever category. I just remember being like, I mean, I have like healthy relationships in my life. But I'm like, am I supposed to like, cause he was like, find every book they've written, every like talk they've done, and just like watch everything, listen to everything. And I'm like, so then I'm like thinking, okay, who do I find? Like, who's going to be a mentor for this?
Yeah.
I ended up finding the Freemans, which
I think I follow them because of you.
Yeah. They're the ones that wrote The Argument Hangover. And
that I still need to read.
Yeah, but when I remember when I was searching for a marriage coach, and like everything I found was like relationship coach. And I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. Well, then I ended up finding them, and they happened to be from the Phoenix area. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. And then got the book. You know, I don't really follow them as closely anymore, but the book was really helpful. But so also I feel like ties back into like where things just lead you. Yeah. Cause I was like, what are the odds that the only marriage coach I can find on Instagram is in Phoenix? I was like, what? And then, so anyway. Yeah.
But I also feel like that, I mean, cause to me, like what you're describing too, cause it is hard to find a mentor. And again, going back to what I said earlier, like once you've surpassed for yourself certain goals, I think too with age, you get better and better at kind of deciphering like what's going to work for you, what's not. And so not that I would say don't read and but like if it's not sinking in for you, then maybe that's not the way that you absorb it. Yeah. But it gets harder and harder, I think, to find a mentor that really matches what it is that you're looking for. But I'm glad that you also went through that process, because then I think too, like, nah, that's not my route. I mean, because to me, reading this book a second time around, it was different. It was better. It was richer. But the mentor thing, like, it was very real for me that I need a mentor for my career. And not because I don't have really great people to lean on, but because, again, it's like I've been with the same company for 21 years. I need to start branching out, and and then the L&D space, the true L&D space, I've only been in, for a handful of years. And so it's like, I need mentors within this industry. But I understand what you're saying, because sometimes, again, I follow people and I go, I don't know. But I also think you can learn from people that you dislike their style too. So.
Yeah, for sure. The main thing is for me, it sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but it's the voices of some of these people that I'm just like, I
like,
can't.
because you don't feel like they're authentic, or you feel like they're
and just like something about their actual voice
annoys you.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
not really annoys me, but I'm just like, I don't know, I can't like get invested right now, because I'm just thinking about like how they're just weird like twang in your voice that I don't like. I know, it's so dumb. But
I don't know what? Though. I feel like, again, matching energy, it's just like, no, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's the same, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there have been podcasts recommended to me that I'll try out, and I'm just like, I don't really like this person's voice. And like, I'm not even trying to be rude, but if that's the main thing that I'm doing is listening to your voice, then I'm not going to be able to like really be invested.
Yeah, I get that though, because I feel like that's how I am with podcasts. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I think a big part of the reason is as soon as I turn it on, it's kind of like reading a crappy book. Like you start reading
and you're like, I'm not into this.
No. And I can't just go, well, maybe it'll get better by page 10. It's like, no, I can't. If it's not better by like page 2, I just
page 2.
Most of the time I'm out.
Oh my God. That's funny. Okay. You guys,
authors out there,
page
beware.
2. Page 2, or she's closing the book.
I don't give it a lot of chances.
Oh my God. My ear itches. Okay, so there's like 1,001 things we could talk about.
Literally.
But the last episode that launched, I got in trouble for not asking more about the guest.
Oh, okay.
From my pal. And honestly, she's probably my number 1 listener if I really took a poll.
Yeah.
And
but your mentor in podcasting.
No, not her.
Oh.
And no, she was just like, I already know. So that last episode that launched was Emma's.
Okay.
And she's like, I already know Emma, but as a listener, I didn't like get to know anything about her. And I was like,
Good
yeah,
point,
I was like, you're right. Cause we just kind of jumped right into chatting and I didn't do my intro. Like I didn't even have her introduce herself like I just did for you. So sorry, Mags.
Sorry. Mags. Oh. Mags, what do you want to know, girl?
Yeah. But anyway, so we want to know more about you, and then inevitably we'll have follow-up episodes because there's a lot of other things that we could talk about. But
okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to know about me?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think. So we know you've been in the corporate world for 20, what do you say?
21 years.
1 years. That's a long time. How'd you get there?
How did I get there? It's actually, now that I've been here for a long time, it's a cool story that I've been here for so long with the same company. So I actually worked with a different staffing company that I found through our cousin. And I was doing part-time work for a long time, and that company got acquired by Tech Systems. And I stayed. And I think part of it was I really loved the corporate world from the beginning. But what I found out from the acquisition was that my company that I worked for before that I thought was like very corporate was actually more of like a startup. And so then with tech coming in, there was a lot more structure. There was a lot more, like a career path or all these things. So I loved that at a really young age. I don't have I don't have a college degree. And so for me, even though I was going to school at that time, I was also like, wow, this is cool. Like I'm already like in this big girl job and I don't have a college degree. And then later on, what I learned from that was I could still make a really, really good living without a college degree. Not saying that you shouldn't get a college degree. I'm just saying that you can also be very successful without one. So for me, it was, it's a cool story because it's like, I just sort of got acquired. But it worked out for me because I was really into the vision of Tech Systems. We had some really, really great leaders at, in the very beginning that I just sort of clung on to. And also just a lot of people that were really genuine about pouring into me and like my, not only me professionally, but like personally, because again, I was young. I was 19, 21, like just super young, And so, that part of it, I think I really grew up, in this company. And then, like I said, they've just afforded me a lot of opportunity to go to different places. And so for me, that's always, I love travel. I love meeting new people. I do love doing hard things. Like I love challenging myself and getting to that next level of mastery. And so for me, like it just, I don't know, it just really, really worked well for my drive and for what I thought I wanted to do. So
we do love doing hard things. That's interesting. I think I know who we get that from.
I think I do too.
Where did you, so you found out about the company you originally worked for? You found out about that from our cousin? And I think she's a listener too. So hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. Yeah, from Jamie. Jamie needed like a part-time admin. So it was literally a
okay.
part-time.
So she was already working there.
Yeah, she was already working there. It was a part-time admin role. I was answering phones. I mean, it was literally just like something, and it was really to get my foot in the door for something corporate. Because at the time I was working, like a typical like after high school barista. I don't know what I was doing, because at that point I was also working like 4 jobs. So I was working at the Navy base, So
I think that's what you were doing.
yeah. So I got in with her, and then once we got acquired, but even like that experience now looking back, I'm like, they acquired us, and I mean, we had the big wigs from tech coming out and taking us out to dinner and like doing all these things that for a 21-year-old, it's like, now I look back, I'm like, I actually had some really big things that I experienced early on in my career. And I was just such a sponge to it that it worked out for me that I was like not afraid to go, oh, okay, I'm gonna follow this person. What are they doing? Okay, what do and then Carrie Coughlin is someone who, I don't know if she's a listener, but she's out there somewhere.
She should be.
Or she should be. But she was one of my really, really early mentors. And she was just someone who, she was kind of like half bulldog, half like Labrador. Like, she just was someone who I really respected. And she very quickly, from a business acumen perspective, said, hey, like, if you want to do this, you need to do this. And it made sense to me. And so I was like, yes, I respect you. It makes sense. You're doing it in this like tough love kind of way that totally works for me. So, and she really helped me, and guide me. And then, I think about, and I'm sure she's a listener, Sandra Day, she, then she kind of introduced me down this path, and I started meeting all, these other leaders. And again, early in my career, I was very fortunate that almost every single one of my leaders was awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously there are different leaders and different styles. And as you grow and as you get, so I'm not saying every single leader out there has worked for me, but early on in my career, I was fortunate enough that I had some really, really great leaders who just motivated me. And I was completely bought in to whatever we were doing. And like I said, it's really paid off for me.
Yeah. That's always impressed me too, that you found something that was such a perfect fit for you, like from the very beginning. And there's been ups and downs.
Sure.
But every time you've figured out like your spot still. And yeah, it's just like, it remains to be. And like you just said, now you're like, this is the first time where I feel like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, it's just pretty like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And again, I there have been times where I've thought like, is this it? Should I go now? But I think also what was instilled in me really, really early on was to speak your mind, was to, and even if I didn't have the confidence back then, there were always people who like a Dwayne Harris, like people in my life, like senior people with tech, that would say, no, like, you're great at this specific, like they would count, give me specific examples of things that I was great in, and like get me to the point where I believed them myself. And so I think that that's the other thing that they instilled in me early on, was like, if you're really good at something and you're giving high quality and all these things, why can't you ask for something else, another position or another, like, again, to go to another organization, somewhere else within the org, that type of thing. And so I had confidence in that, to do that, even if it was a little shaky of a conversation. So I feel like that really helped me. Again, kind of like the book, weed things out quickly. It was like, this isn't working for me, or I've done everything that I really can to get it to work for me, and it's not working for me. So I got to go. I can't, I also am not big on wasting time. So
Same.
Yeah. So for me, I just feel like some of those things that they instilled in me early on, it definitely helped me, and then again, as I got more experienced, as I got more, knowledgeable about even just the inner workings and navigating through, we're a company that's built on relationship building, and I'm really good at relationship building. And so people remember me and people remember like the interaction with me. And so I think that for me, you know, that part of it has really worked out because it doesn't feel like I'm leaving one team to go for it. It's just like, hey, my assignment's done. So
yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about working for tech was the relationships. And I think everyone said that too, like across the board.
Yeah.
Because you just have like good people.
We do. We hire really good people.
Yeah.
And fun people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I still have
like,
literally lifelong friends that if I go to Seattle,
Yeah.
or when I was in different roles, but I was in, you know, Florida and we'd go to Cancun and like, I just still have so many people that I could lean on. And even in my current job where I'm actually, you know, in a different company kind of, or part of the company. I mean, there's people that I've leaned on that I haven't talked to in 10 years. And it's like, you know, we just pick up where we left off. Like it's that type of.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. I'm going to jump to questions. So we have a little bit shorter of time with you today because you're a busy working mom. And did you ever watch that show, Working Moms, on Netflix?
No, apparently no, because I'm a busy working mom.
Yeah, well, you should watch it because it is funny. And it's basically about a bunch of working moms.
I'll put it on my list and hopefully my customer will send me somewhere where I have a 10-hour flight.
Yeah. I think they're short episodes too.
Oh, okay.
Which is one thing that I like. I always like to have one show that has short episodes in case I don't have time for the longer one. And I feel like most shows are longer, but a lot of like sitcoms can be shorter. So anyway, that's a good one. All right. What is your best self-care tip or advice?
My best self-care tip, especially the last year, is make the time. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, if it's 60 minutes, if it just like do something. And I, you know, I hesitate to say do something every day because there are days that I don't, but I would say don't let yourself go more than 3 days. Like there should be something that you're consciously like, I take myself out to lunch on a regular. I have a pool in my backyard. I'll go and just walk around it, like get some daylight for 5 minutes. So I think we put too much pressure on ourselves that it needs to be meditation and it needs to be this and it needs to be that and blah, blah, blah. Like make it easy for you. Like everyone's busy. Everyone's, I don't want to say stressed, but like everyone has stressors or things they worry about. Like don't add on the stressor of self-care. I just think it's do it. Like, and again, I have different things. I basically have that as a goal in my, do a walking meeting, do again, 10 minutes of reading, like whatever it is. But I don't really put like hardcore parameters on it. It's just like, make sure that I do it. And it's not 3 weeks and I'm going, oh, I haven't read anything or worked out or whatever.
Yeah. And I would like to add, because I just see this a lot in my field, I guess. And one of the things that I truly like wholeheartedly believe in and practice in my life coaching is finding out what works for you.
Yeah.
Because what works for you might not be what works for the next person, and or what, they say you should do, how many steps you should walk each day or whatever might not be realistic.
Right.
And then you end up stressing yourself out because you didn't hit your steps 5 days out of the week and you feel guilty about it and all these like all the ripple effect from it. But also finding those activities or self-care items that actually recharge you. Because like not everyone likes to read. Not everyone likes to take a bath or whatever. But you might be a person that takes a bath and is just like, I feel so much better afterward. So like finding those things that really recharge you and then finding a way, how can I fit these in my schedule? Yeah. Especially because if they really do recharge you, and then you realize like, oh, this is actually really important to me, you're going to find the time to put it in.
Yeah. I do think that's one of the things that Claim Your Power did for me was like, and the second time, not saying I didn't have these realizations the first time, but the second time around it just was overall just like a deeper experience. But it was more so the like awareness of what are the things that actually do work for me. Like, because again, I tried it all and probably multiple times, kind of like a diet, like, oh, try, and I've just finally said, like, I don't like doing that. Like meditation, I don't like doing it, but I love a sound bath. And guess what? You can Google 5-minute ones. You can Google 50-minute ones. And so it was like, I don't want to do that. What's another way? And then also too, some of it was asking other people, like, what do you do? What do you do as a working mom? What do you do? And so it was just kind of figuring out and then trying stuff on. And then, like I said, I have my whiteboard where I have some goals of like, did you do any self-care? Did you work out today? But it's not, I have to work out 5 times. I have to work out, so.
Yeah. I was going to say something else and I think I forgot, but that's okay. Okay. What lights you up?
Oh my gosh.
What lights you up,
what
Devin?
Lights me up. I mean, a lot of things light me up. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm pretty positive. I would say something that I think about that also relates to like what I'm doing right now is I love helping people find like the light bulb, like whatever that light bulb might be. But I feel like typically it's like I'm either giving people an idea that maybe they haven't thought about in terms of getting them unstuck, or I'm teaching them something, like that type of stuff. Like I love helping people get to where they maybe will reach their potential. Like, like that to me has always lit me up. That part of it, being a facilitator 15 years ago or whatever it is now, 10 years ago, I don't know. But like, I always enjoyed that. And then now it trickles into, my kids. And I think I'm not as shy to be like, you should do this, blah, 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 blah. But, people don't sometimes see what they could be until someone tells them that,
Yeah, for sure. And I would also like to say that, you are like probably the most sunshiny person that I have in my life. And it's just always great energy, and not just like, let's party, but like, it's just always like, what's going on? Like, what's good? What are we doing?
Yeah. And like, I genuinely love being around people. Yeah. I mean, I love entertaining, but I think it is just, it's the connection. That's what it is. It's just connection with people. Yeah. And then especially if I can help them by building that connection and then helping them, feel better or be better, or like, yeah,
it's awesome. I also just remembered what I was going to say on the last question. And it's just you reminded me there too, because you were saying like how you really like to help people get there and experience the light bulb. I was going to say with the self-care and stuff, it's like that self-exploration piece, which is also what I help clients do in life coaching, is like, because you have to have that kind of trial and error period of trying something for a little bit and then figuring out, oh, that doesn't work. Or maybe you even figure out, I like that, but like there's something not quite right about it. I need to do something. Maybe I need to do it a different time of day, or maybe, change the environment or whatever it is. But
sometimes you need that collaboration.
Yes.
Like, and that's, I think for me, like whether it's work, whether it's personal, like it's the connection of the collaboration. And then I'm a creative person. And so to me, collaboration has always been like, that fuels my creative ability to be like, oh, you guys, okay, based on these 20 things that I just heard, what if we did this? And it's like, oh yes, that's what we should do.
I know. It feels it's so fun to collaborate with people and just like have those like juices flow in and like end up producing whatever you produce. And you're just like, that was awesome. Yeah. I am also a collaborator, but in very different circumstances. So I totally get it. Okay. What is a great source of joy for you that you've not put much focus into lately?
You know what? And Cynthia, I'm sure you're out there, and Joan, scrapbooking. I love cause again, it's like my photos are the memories of collaborating or entertaining or whatever. And I used to be avid scrapbooker because I had great people that I could scrapbook with. And I haven't, and I've talked, I need to put it like on a goal list somewhere, but I have talked to you and Mom about, watching my kids so I can get some time, because again, it's like we used to do it for hours and hours and hours pre-kids, but I love it because it's a creative aspect. It brings in the people that I love, or I'm making things for people I love. Yeah. And so, that's it.
Yeah. You need to do that. It'd be a nice little weekend trip. Also this might probably not fulfill your total scrapbooking need, but, I need to work on my recipe book.
Oh.
And I need your help because I'm not a scrapbooker. I tried it for a short period of time.
But that's the thing is, even I have so many projects that like, even just saying, hey, we're going to do this for 2 hours. Like that, that's what I need to do is I need to carve out the time.
And that might be about all the time I can volunteer at this point. Yeah. Okay, if you had 1 minute to tell the world something, what would you say?
Oh,
she's looking at me like,
God.
What is this question?
Like, what? 1 minute to tell the world something?
And your minute starts now.
Okay, you know what? Here's what I would say. I really believe that we are more alike than we are different. So I would encourage people, and I'm not saying you have to go out and like find a stranger and interview them. Like, I'm not saying that. But I really think that there has been some loss in belief for, humankind, whatever it is, right? And I really think people just need to maybe take a step back, maybe put yourself in someone else's shoes, maybe, and again, I don't want to say like, overthink it. It's just, I deal with people every day. Thousands of people. I've been doing it for 21 years. I'm really into zodiac signs and birth order and all these things. And so, not certified anything, but to me, I just have found more similarities. And now I have an international audience I can compare it to too.
Yeah.
I've just found more similarities and differences. And so I feel like, we just need to give each other a chance, And again, I'm not saying go out there and just be best friends with everyone and throw your beliefs out the window. It's just, I think that with everything going on in the world, we need each other.
Yeah, for sure. Love thy neighbor. That's what Emma said on her last
neighbor
episode. Which, I just love that because, just give people, a little empathy, a little understanding, even if you don't understand what they're going through, but just understanding that they are also living a life and going through all sorts of things.
And it's all in moderation. Like I'm not saying, I think that's, we've gone from one side of the spectrum to the other. But it's just like, hey, day to day, we're all doing things.
Yeah.
And we all have things that we're responsible for. And we all have heavy loads and we all have all of it. Just love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor. All right. So you're super busy, but is there something that you're reading or watching? You already say you don't really, you listen to other things.
Yeah.
Something noteworthy that you have read recently, watched, or listened to.
I mean, Claim Your Power, I know we've had a couple months, but I would recommend that book to people who really want a different perspective on themselves and are ready to accept whatever comes of that. If you're really looking to do some work, I would recommend that. I recently read Wesley, Little Sister Wesley has turned me on to Colleen Hoover. Her books are a little different sometimes, but also I think really great. I read Too Late. It was very toxic, but it was great for a 10-hour plane ride. Read it very quickly. In fact, one of the flight attendants was like, "What are you reading? Because you cannot put this book down." So I recommend that book. Again, just kind of a guilty pleasure type of read. I haven't really gotten to watch anything lately, so I don't know.
Well, I'm super jelly that you got 10 hours of reading. Let me tell you, I wish I had that. Even like for the week, I wish I had 10 hours of reading. Of course, that makes sense. But anyway, thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your busy schedule and all the hats you wear and all the roles that you play. Can't wait to have you back to talk about birth order.
Oh, yeah.
And just growing up. And someday, whenever we're all in the same place, we're going to record an episode because that's just going to happen. It just has to happen.
Sorry, audience, for all the laughing and inside jokes that you won't understand and you won't have time to explain.
But it's going to happen. So just heads up. Don't know when, but it's coming at you. But yeah, thank you and can't wait to have you back.
Well, thanks for having me, sissy.
Bye-bye.